Sir.
Right. Reggie, hey, Sadie, thank you for having us. My name is David Javel. I am with HigherLogic, have been with HigherLogic for 3+ years. I have been working in technology in the association space for 15+ years, and I am a product manager at HigherLogic. Today we will be talking about marketing automation, what we call our communications platform, and of course, how to personalize that member experience with marketing automation specifically. Now, a little bit about HigherLogic. Many of you may know us already. Many of you may already take advantage of our online community platform. We, of course, about 3 years ago acquired 2 marketing automation solutions and now have marketing automation solutions available for you to take advantage of. All of this, of course, is the ideal way to create an ecosystem for your members, creating that member experience. HigherLogic, of course, has been around and founded since 2007. We have, of course, a global presence in 14 different countries and employees in 3 continents. HigherLogic has more than 2,600 customers, 270,000 communities, and also HigherLogic has been named one of those great places to work, most recently in Washington's Great Places to Work as well. Now, HigherLogic, of course, the online community is a portion of the solution with our marketing automation solution. For us, what we've really been focusing on is making sure that we're creating a very personalized experience for your members. And as we go through the solution today, you'll see how you'll be able to take advantage of the feature and sets that we have available for you to be able to create what that experience should be for a member, whether they're just starting off with your organization or they've been a more tenured individual, and maybe an opportunity to ask them to give back a little of their time, volunteer opportunities as well. Now, at the end of the day, marketing automation is just a great way out of the box through our solution to establish campaigns that can really execute on the strategies that you have. It takes advantage of all those key pieces from our solution, whether it's understanding trends and recognizing patterns from your members, all the way through to traditional approaches of, hey, where is somebody on that membership curve? Again, are they somebody who's just started off or somebody who's been around for a little while, ready to and ripened to be able to give back to the organization? Marketing automation is going to be able to start to help you identify that, and of course, reaching out to those individuals at the right time with the right content. So I'll take a quick pause here, slide on over to the actual solution. And Reggie, if you could just confirm for me that you can in fact see. Good to go.
Yeah.
There we are. The January 2021 calendar, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, what you're looking at here is the HigherLogic communications professional solution. This is an area where I always like to start off because working with all different sizes of organizations, being able to kick off your week, your month, understanding what strategy communications you have going on is key. It's something that's going to influence what you'll have for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, as I said, the rest of the month. And if you're working with different team members in coordinating that marketing calendar, you'll be able to come in here and easily identify what it is you already have set up. So whether they're one-off emails that you have going on, whether you've added to the calendar and said, hey, we have a reminder mailing going on there, let's stay away from that certain day. Or as we get into those automated campaigns, you're able to come in here and also identify what it's like for a member today and all of the communications they might be receiving from you. So again, if you've ever asked yourself, are we running into list fatigue? Are we over emailing our members? Just keep in mind, this is all something that will be automatically populated for you so you can coordinate efficiently on that. Now from there, the HigherLogic solution does integrate with most AMS and CRM solutions out there. So what we find is that a lot of organizations will start to synchronize the different segments they may already have within their AMS. Now, our solution does allow you to import any external lists of context that you might have, whether that's a spreadsheet you have on your desktop or maybe an external system where those contexts don't exist in your database yet. You'll be able to come in here and create what we call our target groups. A lot of what's represented here through this AMS integration area would be examples of those lists or queries that you have from within your database. Keep in mind all of those demographic fields of data that you want to take advantage of within marketing automation and those emails that you're sending out. You'll be able to have synchronized and made available within the solution as well. Now, a lot of organizations will synchronize multiple lists. They'll also come in and create what we like to call our compound lists. Now, those compound lists could take advantage of the information that you have out of your AMS. So for example, if you want to have a list of all your members who maybe have a specific job responsibility, are located in a specific geographic area, you'll be able to come in here and identify those contexts through our interface. You can even start to look at maybe other activities that HigherLogic's capturing for you. So when you think about individuals who maybe clicked on a specific link, you can start to add those individuals to a compound list, as we call it. You can also exclude subscribers or individuals. So if, for example, you don't want to include your board members within a specific target audience, you're going to be able to come in here and identify those list of individuals as well. Now, what our customers really love about taking advantage of our target groups is not only the synchronization from the AMS in your database, being able to segment, of course, on the fly, but also just having a really quick bird's eye view into those contexts to say, how many individuals are in that target audience? Is that what I expected, right? Does that match the data that's coming out of my database? I'm also able to start to identify maybe trends and patterns based off of that list. So if, for example, I had a list of my young professionals, I'd be able to come in here and say, how are they interacting with my content? Right? This is all something now at the list level, I'm really able to understand some of those trends, where I need to focus my attention on, or if I'm having success with them, that's great. They're ready for me to take that next step with them, nurture them a little bit further along the membership curve. Now, at any time, I can dive in and take a look at the details of these lists. You'll notice here that I can identify who these contacts are that make up this list. And I can really start to identify how that individual is also engaged with my content. Now, this is just an example of how organizations are using the HigherLogic solution on a day-to-day basis. Imagine if you're on the phone with a member, if you're corresponding over email with a member, that individual is someone who's maybe on a webinar with you asking questions. You'd be able to come in here and identify, okay, how are they trending with my content? Is that someone who's a champion? Is that someone who's at risk? What other content have they been interested in, like other emails they may have opened or viewed, as well as some of those web analytics about that individual to say, all right, clearly this non-member is showing interest of becoming a member. Now's the time to ask that question. Now we'll get into some of these other areas like the scoring capability within HigherLogic, but after you've identified the different target audience, list of individuals that you might be sending to, it's a good opportunity then to start working within your actual email message. Now, HigherLogic does offer a library of templates for you to take advantage of. These are going to be responsive messages, mobile optimized, ready for you to come in and make your own. So that opportunity is there. I'll go ahead and zoom out, but there's a lot of different templates here. Organizations that start with us come on board and make these templates their own, add their banner, their logos, their styling. They lock that down and then allow their users to come in and simply focus in on the content of the message. Now, if you want to design your own template, you absolutely have the opportunity to do so. If you want HigherLogic to create templates for you, it's an opportunity to rebrand. Again, that's something that from the HigherLogic side, we're able to create those templates for you as well. Once that template's selected, you're then prompted into the designer of that message. So you're able to come in here and, for example, drop in some content. You'll notice here that the traditional word processing tools are available for you there. There's also the ability to take advantage of that data that you have within our solution, whether it's through an AMS or data you've uploaded, to personalize those messages, like a salutation or an expiration date. You'll be able to come in here and add additional stories of content as well. And stories are really what we like to call those define looks and feels, or those layouts that you might have. So whether it's image with text, or maybe it's just an image section where you're uploading a banner, you can come in here and manage all of that. You can absolutely copy and paste HTML code into your messages as well. So a lot of organizations we work with might have an advertised company they work with, and that company just simply provides that HTML code. If you just want to drop that in, you're able to come in here and do so. Now, what I really love about this designer is that you're able to come in here and take advantage of some more of the advanced functionality that's here. And we make it really, really easy for you. So one of those examples might be, let's see what kind of interest we can garner off of that first story by doing something like an A/B test. Perhaps we're using different colors of a button. Perhaps we're using a button versus a read more text as a hyperlink. Perhaps we're including an article about one topic versus the other. You're going to be able to do that quickly and easily on the fly. And then through our tracking and reporting, you'll be able to identify which of those two stories are performing the best for you. You're also able to come in here and target content specifically to individuals. So imagine here if I were sending this message out, this was my newsletter, going to all of my members, all of my contacts. But I only want this first article with this call to action about our super series to go to those individuals who have not yet registered for the event. I'm able to show that content specifically to those individuals in my all members list. Everyone else who has registered, I can swap out the content and perhaps promote another webinar or the next event in the series, or I can simply collapse it and show the next article in line within that newsletter. Now, one of the other areas that I'm really excited about is something new that HigherLogic has rolled out starting this week. We have the ability now to take advantage of the vast knowledge and experience that we've had working with so many associations, setting up different types of communication campaigns to accommodate for the specific workflows that you have today. What are those workflows? Think about your onboarding opportunities, your fundraising, your renewal processes that you have today. And if any of you have ever run into writer's block, I will admit I definitely have. We've now included the ability to import some of that content that we have learned and work with organizations on to drive success of those emails that are going out. So for example, that onboarding series that you might have, you're going to be able to come in here and look at the content that has worked and has driven that success. It's supported by the case studies that HigherLogic has to be able to say, this is a good example of what you would want to start off with when onboarding a new member. Now, all of this, and I will stress, is a launch pad. This is what HigherLogic has provided as a base for you and your organization. We want to make sure you have the opportunity to really make this your own and your association's voice. So again, whether if it's onboarding, the renewal process that we have here, there's also an opportunity for, when you're ready, that fundraising and donating. All of that library of content is now something you'll be able to insert within your messages to really get you started. Now, that was one of the two more popular hurdles that we found from organizations in adopting marketing automation is, hey, I'd love to automate content, but I just don't have the time to create the content and really think about it. But how can I get going with marketing automation? This is one of those steps that you'll be able to take to save time and really get you going in some of the more efficient ways of onboarding or getting up to the marketing automation capability. Now, from there, a lot of organizations will then be prepared to review and send that message that they've composed. All the traditional components of a message will be automatically generated for you, like the text version. There's an online version available for you. So if you want to hyperlink that message and have it available within a browser, that's there. We've also included what we call a virtual inbox testing. This is where you're going to be able to come in and with confidence know that your message is going to render correctly and the way you expect across multiple different devices and environments. So whether it's your webmail clients, those mobile devices that are out there, or something as like the different versions of Outlook that might be out there, you can now come in here and ensure that it's rendered, it's responsive, the call to actions where you expect it to be across all of these different devices. You'll notice here that we also have some spam testing capability to help you understand the risk of that message getting blocked or perhaps routed to that spam folder. Now, HigherLogic also understands that organizations of all sizes might also have perhaps a formal or maybe an informal review process. You'll notice here that we're going to be able to incorporate that workflow into this process as well, creating the ability for you to send a copy of that message specifically to those individuals, being able to put a due date on it, as well as reminders to say, hey, make sure you have an opportunity to go in there and take a look at that message and add comments to any updates you would like. Then the original author will have the opportunity to use those comments to make those edits. Now, the last step in the send process is the literal send. You'll be able to send messages right away without any queuing. You'll be able to schedule in the future. You'll be able to take advantage of that optimized approach that takes advantage of that machine learning, that pattern recognition of at an individual level, when should this message be delivered to that person because of their past open experience. And then as a foray into the marketing automation, if you're not taking advantage of a marketing automation solution today, just being able to go in there and send that newsletter out on Tuesday and then quickly say, on Thursday, I want to go ahead and fire off that same message. And maybe, and what we believe to be a best practice you should take advantage of, resend that message with a slightly different subject line. Have another bite of the apple. Now, many organizations, that is how they accomplish their email communications today. They target their audience, they compose their message, they send that message out. But in that next phase of your marketing automation capability, you want to go in and automate a lot of these workflows. So many organizations will go in and take advantage of HigherLogic's advanced starter kits. These starter kits are those workflows that you might be doing manually today. You might be doing in somewhat automated approach if your AMS offers perhaps that renewal type of messaging for you, or campaigns that you haven't even thought of because you don't have the opportunity or time to do so, right? So when you think about winning back lapsed members, how are you doing that today? How are you promoting those events out there? Or what is your fundraising campaign capability? So a lot of these different life cycle type of campaigns are all something that HigherLogic has not only provided content for you, but as well, all of these steps in the actual campaign themselves have been predefined. These are all best practice campaigns. These are, again, questions that customers have asked of us. How many emails should I include? What should that cadence be in a series? Are something you'll be able to now, with a click of a button, have predefined and set up for you. Now, many organizations will take advantage of this, especially when they get started, especially if they don't really have an automated or a welcome series, or they haven't visited how successful that welcome series has been, and they're ready to try something different. This is where they'll really take advantage of those starter kits and get them going. Again, we'll provide the content that you'll be able to take advantage of. And when you're ready, you're going to be able to then use the palette of options here on the left-hand side to add in additional steps. So everything from a decision diamond to say, not only do I want to look at if they opened a message, maybe I want to understand if they clicked on a link, or which link did they click on. If this were something like an event promotion campaign, maybe once they register, I'll move them out of this campaign and bump them over to the other campaign that reminds them about the following webinar, the following event they may want to attend. From there, many organizations will bump up to a slightly more advanced campaign. I'll just zoom out here to just show you how organizations are scaling up once they've automated some of those traditional workflows, like a welcome series or the renewal process, to now really start focusing in on their members' interests. So one example of that is being able to come in here and sending out a newsletter, and then looking at how or what an individual is clicking on, and then being able to promote some of those education options that you might offer because of what they clicked on. Now, this is all something now that could be running on in the back end. It's something that when we look at reporting, you'll be able to measure success and identify what's working or where you'll want to focus a little bit more time on to improve that experience for your members. So let's talk a little bit about the reporting and analytics that HigherLogic offers. Absolutely, the traditional KPIs are available for you for each of the message and any message that's sent out of the HigherLogic solution. You'll be able to dive in to understand your open rates, your bounce rates. Any of these bar graphs are clickable for you to dive down into, see who those individuals are. You'll also notice on the left-hand side, there's other pre-canned reports that we believe to be very important for you to measure. And if at any time you don't know why something like that should be measured, that's where HigherLogic's experts can absolutely help you understand why and how to improve your organization from those reports. One of my favorites, something that I get asked about a lot, is in fact this publish mailing capability. Because if you've ever redesigned a website, there's a heat mapping capability. You're now able to do this as well for your email to understand what it is that's actually working, getting a lot of clicks and attention versus what isn't, and maybe an opportunity to refresh my look and feel or update what that message actually looks like. Now that's at a micro level looking at a very specific message. But if I wanted to see more at a higher level, the health of my communications, that is also something that HigherLogic has put together, worked with customers on to help identify what should be measured and where you should improve and focus on to identify some of these, what we call message summary reports. So being able to say, for all of my messages, what is my delivery rate? What's my click rate? I can come in here and start identifying different rates, trends of my deliverability. I can start to answer some of those popular marketing questions like, what is the best day or time that I should be sending? What happens when I include a subject line that is X long versus Y long? Now, this is at an account level, and I can drill down into that. But I can also come in here and start add filters to any of those reports. If you want to know how specific segments of your audience are performing or engaging, if I wanted to come in here and perhaps compare February 2020 to February 2021, I'd be able to come in here and do that as well. Or if it's something that I just simply want to understand how something like my templates are, should I expire this template or should I update this template? I can see, you know what, I shouldn't. It's actually getting a lot of opens, a lot of activity. So opportunities that we have there. The last comment for these reports that I'll make is HigherLogic is integrated with a lot of AMSs, and this data can also be written back to those solutions. So if you have a BI tool like Acumen from Association Analytics, using any of that data can also be made available from the HigherLogic solution as well. Now, moving forward, we also have the web tracking capability. If you remember when we looked at that individual record and we started to see what their interests were based off of their web activity, we also have the ability to show you at a higher level how your website's performing. This is in no way a replacement to Google Analytics or some of the other solutions you might be using today, but complementary. The one area that we will highlight, of course, is the ability to come in and identify who those contacts are. So that way you can look to see what other interests they might have, what other areas you may want to focus on for that member, for that individual. And lastly here, as it pertains to reporting, you have the ability to set up scoring to identify who your champions are, who's engaging with your content, who you want to tap on the shoulder to ask them to volunteer or mentor on behalf of your organization. And those that might be a little bit lower on the scoring and not engage very much to be able to come in and say, they might be at risk. They're up for renewal. These are the individuals that I need to focus on. All of that is something that you'll be able to come in and define, whether it's for your members or those potential members or leads, you'll be able to set up scores to identify the different classification for them. That works hand in hand also with the personas that you're able to create within HigherLogic. Now, if you've never gone through a persona development type of workflow, that's something that you can lean on HigherLogic's expertise through our strategic services to help you establish that. But it's a great way to start grouping together individuals that share similar characteristics. So irrespective of industry, title, geolocation, there might be other characteristics that really helps you define those different groupings of individuals. because you'll also, and finally, be able to understand where you should be focusing your time. How are my non-members engaged? How are my members engaged with my content? If I notice that a lot of them are scoring at a level C, I need to spend my time there. I need to identify what's working. The community is also just a great way to be able to nurture that, encourage them, get the engagement going with the community. And this is all an area we'll be able to help you identify who those individuals are and how they're scoring by persona. You're also able to track this by group, by list, but persona is just a good example of taking advantage of the different offerings HigherLogic has to really help your organization improve from a marketing automation and strategies. Thank everyone for the time today. I did save a little bit of time here, and I'm also going to just pop up a screen here in a moment. But if there's opportunity for questions, Reggie, I'll go ahead and let you.
Good. We got a few questions here. So I'm going to start from the beginning here. What are the tools that you have for correcting responsive views after you do the check screen? So if I go there and I see something not fitting right, what kind of tools do I have at my disposal to correct those things?
Yeah, great question. We really find that a lot of organizations will reach out to our support team. First and foremost, that's a great start. We also have our own HigherLogic users group community. So whether it's through a blog post for what we've learned and maybe new standards that have been released, we'll of course be posting there to just get you up to speed on it. And then of course, just simply asking the question amongst peers to identify how you might be able to correct that if needed. So a couple of different avenues to be able to adjust for that.
Right. One question says, does HigherLogic integrate with Aptify? I'll say yes, because we do that. Another question is, besides the HigherLogic sample content, does the program have the ability to import content from outside sources, say, for example, an outside writer or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And as a product manager, I can tell you that's something that we are pursuing. That's absolutely where we're headed. But at any time, keep in mind that you can allow access for that author, that writer, to be able to just come in and simply do that and keep them out of everything else.
Okay. What technology features are in development for the future? What can we look forward to seeing roll out soon?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned there's some front-end integrations that allow content to be imported. Just a good example of what we want to get going with. The ability to really leverage more of what the community has to offer, whether that's through recommended audiences or segments of individuals in that community, or thinking about the content that the community is producing today. Let's repurpose that the best and most efficient way we can. So just some areas that we're really focused on throughout this year.
So this is not a question that somebody had, but I'm glad you mentioned the ability for the HigherLogic platform to write back to other sources. You know, I think we lose track of the fact that most associations now have an ecosystem of things that they use to serve their members, and each, you know, the closer we get to each one of those specific things, knowing about all the other specific things, you know, the better are we get at serving member needs. So thank you for that. Any last bit of wisdom you want to impart upon us, sir?
Yeah, just coming on board with marketing automation. If you're not doing it today, start off easy and small, right? Let's automate some basic functionality, measure the success of it, learn it, and then build on top of that. HigherLogic's built to scale with you, and we have the experience, and no shame in that, no shame in that. And so for me, that's where organizations have been the most successful, is just establishing a baseline and then iterating on top of that and just evolving to something really, really powerful and successful.
Cool. All right, my friend, thank you for a very informative demo, and we'll see you down the road a bit, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.